Hello, this is Bo Bennett, the creator of the FreeToastHost platform. Welcome to the new FreeToastHost 2.0 platform. Most of you have noticed already that the website is significantly different than the first one. It is a complete and total rebuild of the first FreeToastHost platform. I actually created that back in 2003. It was a long time ago in internet years, so it was time for a complete rebuild. A lot of things have changed, much new, fresh look that takes advantage of the capabilities of today's modern web browsers. So it's a great update, something that was long overdue, and I'm glad that Toastmasters rebranding has kind of forced this necessity of the FreeToastHost update. What I'm going to do is go through the user's guide to give everybody kind of an overview of how the FreeToastHost platform, the new FreeToastHost 2.0 platform, works. And this is specifically geared toward the user of FreeToastHost. So it could be the club member, or it could even be the Toastmaster who has some edit access to the agendas, or it could even be the club officer who has some additional access to the website. So we'll be going over all that in this video tutorial. So let's start out with the domain name, accessing your website. There are primarily three different ways to access your website. Initially, your website is set up using the club number. For this example tutorial, I'm using our home website, the Renaissance Advanced Toastmasters, and our club number is 5954. So we use 5954.toastmastersclubs.org. Please notice that Toastmasters clubs, plural, two S's. Toastmasters is plural and clubs is plural. If you try the other way around, if you try to make them singular, you're not going to get to your website. It's toastmastersclubs.org. And if you try some other extension besides org, again, you're not going to get to your website. So toastmastersclubs.org. Now, once that club is set up, the administrator can assign an alias to your URL, to your website. For ours, it's advanced.toastmastersclubs.org. Now notice this will pull up the website as well. They both will continue to work. But generally, if you assign an alias to make it easier to get to your website, then you're not going to want to use the old URL. You're just going to want to forget about that. But it's always there if you need it, if you forget about it. Now, beyond that, you could also have your own custom domain name, which we do have for our club. It is renaissancetm.org. And I strongly suggest that all club websites have their own domain name. I suggest this because it's just a lot easier. It's easier for people to remember, and it tends to do better in the search engines in terms of recognition and people finding you. Plus, the email addresses are easier. There's a whole lot of reasons why you would want your own domain name. And it's not very expensive. Pretty much anywhere these days you can get your own domain name for under $20 a year. So it's not that expensive for the club to pay for. So that is how you would access your website. Let's talk about navigation. Navigation is basically how you get around your website. The navigation in the FreeToastHost 2.0 is very simple, very easy. The navigation is simply in the left-hand side of the web page. These are the main menus, and these are the sub-menus underneath with the links contained within. Now, there are no links on the top menu. There's no top menu. There's no links in a bottom menu. It's just on the left-hand side. So if you're looking to get to different pages or you're looking for resources, this is where you will look. Now you will notice that there are two different main categories of links. One is the main menu. The other one is the members only. The main menu, as it suggests, is some of the main links where anybody can access. The public can access, members can access, the administrator can access. These links will appear under the main menu. The members only are, as the name suggests, links for members only. Now, I am not logged in at the moment, so if I try to click on these links, I am not going to get anywhere. These are not links at this point. The only link is the support, the member login, and the login as site administrator. But otherwise, these links are disabled. Now over here, these are called different panes. And if you click on one of the panes, it will open up to give you some more information. This is a great way to fit a lot of content into a small area. Let's talk about navigation. Navigation is basically how you get around your website. The navigation in the FreeToastHost 2.0 is very simple, very easy. The navigation is simply in the left-hand side of the web page. These are the main menus, and these are the sub-menus underneath with the links contained within. Now, there are no links on the top menu. There's no top menu. There's no links in a bottom menu. It's just on the left-hand side. So if you're looking to get to different pages or you're looking for resources, this is where you will look. Now you will notice that there are two different main categories of links. One is the main menu. The other one is the members only. The main menu, as it suggests, is some of the main links where anybody can access. The public can access, members can access, the administrator can access. These links will appear under the main menu. The members only are, as the name suggests, links for members only. Now, I am not logged in at the moment, so if I try to click on these links, I am not going to get anywhere. These are not links at this point. The only link is the support, the member login, and the login as site administrator. But otherwise, these links are disabled. Now, over here, these are called different panes. And if you click on one of the panes, it will open up to give you some more information. This is a great way to fit a lot of content into a small area. Now let's assume at this point that you received an email from one of your club officers or perhaps the webmaster/administrator of the website, and you are already set up in the database of the website, so you're ready to log in as a member. What you need to do is you need to go over to the members only section, the menu here. You'll notice that once again, there are no links, or the links are not activated except for the last one. You want to click on the member login link. This will pop up the member login dialog. Now what you want to do is you want to enter in your name, and as you start entering in your name, the list will show with the potential matches. So for example, for my club, we don't have many members, so BO space BENN will only pull up one person, me. It'll pull up my name as it is entered in the database, followed by my member ID, which you don't even have to worry about. You click on that, your member ID will stay in there. Again, this is your member ID for your FreeToastHost website. It is not your member ID for Toastmasters International. And you don't have to memorize that. It's just something you use to log in. Now for your password, if you've never logged in before, you cannot enter a password because you don't have one. You were not assigned a password. No password exists. So you can't just get away with entering no password. You have to click the Authenticate Login. And what will happen after we click this is an email will be sent to you based on your email address that the administrator entered into the website with an authentication key. And we could see what happens as soon as we click on that. So we're going to close this window now. We've sent the authentication key to our email. And here we go. We have the authentication link. We simply click on the link. Now notice the link in the email. It's hyperlinked, starting with HTTP and ending with a letter or a digit. Notice that the brackets are not part of the link. Notice the link is not wrapped. If your email client has linked the linked the brackets or wrapped the URL, it might not work correctly unless you copy and paste the full URL. But in this case, in most cases, it's very simple. You simply click the link. Now, once we click the link, it will take us back to the website, and we'll be able to enter in our custom password. Now, this is a password that we choose. It is not a password that you've already been assigned. It's not something that you have to look up. It's something that comes out of your head. The only thing you need to keep in mind is that the password needs to be at least 6 characters in length and contain only letters and or numbers. So I'm going to enter mine. Again, this is something I'm just making up. And then click Set Password. Once you do that, your password is saved. You can now close the window and you will be logged in. You don't have to log in. Now, technically, you don't have to log in ever again, as long as you keep on using the same browser and you don't clear your cache, clear your memory, clear the cookies that are actually set on your system. So when you go to the site and go again and again and again, you should already be logged in. And you could tell because you don't have the member login link. You have a link instead that's asking you if you want to log out, and it shows who you're logged in as. You could also tell because these links are now active and you could actually click on them. At any time, if you do want to log out, simply click the Log Out button. A few notes on logging in different browsers. If you do have a different browser, like Safari or Internet Explorer, or if you're accessing it from different systems, you have different computers, you're at the library, on a laptop, you will have to log in again. You don't have to authenticate again. So if we logged out, for example, let's just pretend that we're logging in from another computer now, or even another browser. You click on the member login link, and you start entering your name. Wait for it to pop up. There we go. You select it, your name, which will display your ID. And then you enter your password, the one that you set. Now, when you click the Authenticate Login button, you're logging in, you're not authenticating. It will refresh, and you will be logged in again. So that authentication process is only a one-time thing to set your password, or you could authenticate anytime you forget your password. It could be done as many times as you like, but you do not have to authenticate each time. And down here in the member access log, it will show, once you're logged in, who logged in and when the last time they logged in was. Now, perhaps you want to be a club contact for your club. A club contact basically means that any interested party in joining your club will go to the Contact Us form. They will click on it. The dialog will pop up with the club contacts listed in the order that they were entered, along with the telephone numbers only if the member wanted their telephone numbers to be included in the club contacts. And then, as you can see, the contact form where the prospect enters their name, email address, telephone number, and their message, what they're interested in. When they fill this information out and click Submit, it goes to all of the club contacts, up to 3 club contacts per club. And it is recommended that the club contacts, when they reply or respond to a prospect, they click Reply All. So all of the contacts will be aware that one of the club contacts replied to this inquiry. It's a way to protect your email. As you can see now, as a club contact, your email is not shown anywhere. If you look at the source behind this, you're not going to see any email addresses anywhere. Everything is done on the back end. So it's a great way to protect your email from any kind of spam. FreeToastHost gives you the opportunity to hide your email addresses and do everything behind the scene and put the phone number if you want as an option. So if you're interested in being a club contact, then certainly speak with one of your club officers, and perhaps that would be an option. Let's have a look at the club calendar. Club calendar can be found under the main menu. A few links down. Go ahead and click on Club Calendar. This calendar is visible to anybody. Members, administrators, and non-members. Anybody coming to your website can click on this link and can see the entries. so you do want to be mindful of what you do enter in this calendar. The calendar is a fairly simple online calendar, similar to many of the online calendars you might have seen before. To move forward in months, simply click the arrow buttons. To move back, click the other arrow. If you want to get to the day, today, you click on the Today button. It'll instantly jump you back to where you are. You can see the calendar is available in month view, in week view, and in day view. So let's start by keeping it on month view. Scrolling down a little bit, we'll take a look at the key underneath. The key tells us what club meetings look like, what your added events look like, what the administrator added events, and member added events. Now keep in mind that the club calendar is set up for members to be able to add events. So as soon as you are logged in, you will see the calendar a little bit differently. You will be able to actually click on any day and add events into the day. Now, this is something that you do want to discuss with your club officers to find out what your policy is about adding events, what kind of events you are able to add or you're allowed to add, if you want to use that term. Let's say, for example, we are an advanced club, and as an advanced club, we have many authors, writers and speakers, professional speakers in our club. So let's say that I am giving a seminar on the 21st of September. I, as a user, the standard member logged in to the website, as we could tell, will click on September 21st. Dialog will pop up asking me for the event name. And the URL. So I might want to enter the URL of the bookstore, or if there is a specific event URL, perhaps I have a website where I'm explaining this event in great detail, I can enter it there. Maybe I don't, and all I want to say is speaking at bookstore, the Barnes & Noble bookstore at 123 Main Street. I could just enter it in the description, and that will show up on the event. I could choose to make it a one-time event, a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. If I choose nothing, by default, it'll be a one-time event, which this will be. Then I'll just click Create Event. Now, if the event doesn't automatically pop up, your browser did not recognize the automatic refresh, so you can just click on the forward and click back. You could click on Week View or Month View, or you could click the refresh button in your browser and the event will show up. It depends on what's going on with your browser, what are the applications you have going on, and so forth, if you're going to be able to see additions instantly or deletions or any kind of changes. So as you can see, this is coded with yellow with a blue text that signifies that it's one of my events that I personally added. Now, as the administrator of the website, he or she can go to your event, click on it the same way we could, and edit the event. Let's say I just wanted to specify the town, and then click Edit Event, and that new information will show up on the calendar automatically. Or the administrator or you can click on the event and also delete the event if you were so inclined. Now that shows you how to add an event just for the day. Let's say you want to be a little bit more specific. Let's say our event was at 7 p.m. Well, instead of just clicking on the month view, I'm going to either the week or the day view. And I'd prefer just to do the week view for now. I'll scroll forward to find September 21st. Here we go. And my event's going to be at 7 p.m. So at 7 p.m., let's say I'm going to be there from 7 until 9. I will drag, whoops, a little premature. I will grab on that. I will drag it all the way to 9. I'll let go. And then I can put the speaking event with one eye. And other information, one time, create event. And that will create the event for that specific time. I click back on the month view, and there I am. Now we can see that the event is associated with the time, which of course gives the viewers of the calendar a little bit more information. Now let's say that, once again, I want to delete the event. I can just click on the event at any time, click delete event. I want to keep the calendar clean, so I'm doing that. Let's say we have a social event going on every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. So we can set up a recurring event. Again, I want to do this in week form, in the week view, I should say. And I'm going to go back to Wednesday, September 7th. I'm going to scroll down until I find 7 p.m. Here we go, 7 p.m. And the social hour is 1 hour from 7 to 8. I select it, I drag it, enter the name, and I'm going to click weekly now because it goes on every week. Create event. There we go, that popped up. I'm going to click on month view, and we can see that month after month for a period of 1 year, it has created my event every single week on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Now, say, for example, on October 26th, for some reason we're not having the event, and I know that ahead of time. Well, I could click on that single event, and I could just get rid of this event, that one event, or I could, of course, click on any event and get rid of all of the events. Let's say we decide not to do the social hour, or this and after. And there we go. That keeps things nice and clean, nice and neat. As you see here, we have our club meeting every 6th Thursday, the first Thursday of the month. Now, you as a member wouldn't be involved in putting these entries up there. In fact, the administrator doesn't even add these entries to the calendar. They're automatically added and entered when the administrator, the Toastmaster, the VP Ed adds a new agenda. Once they add the agenda, that entry is automatically added to the calendar. And if you click on that entry, you will automatically be taken to the appropriate agenda. And you get back to the calendar, of course, just by clicking on Club Calendar. A couple more things that you might want to be able to know how to do to come in handy. Let's say there's an event going on all week, September 5th through the 9th. I click on the 5th, I drag my mouse all the way to the 9th to select all of those days. I let go, and I'm going to say, let's say perhaps it's Speak Week, pretending that's a national holiday. And it'll just be a one-time event. I could put information about it, whatever. Click on Create Event. There we go. Speak Week, right there. It's dragged the entire time. Let's say, I made a mistake. Speak Week isn't the 5th through the 9th. It's the 12th through the 16th. Well, of course, I could delete the event and just recreate it. That's not a big deal. But easier than that, I could just grab it, drag on it, and drop it. And that will keep the event on those days. And that's basically how you use the calendar. Once again, if you are not logged in, you will see things a little bit differently. For example, let's log out as the member, view the club calendar as anybody, as the public. And the only thing that really changed is my Speak Week does not show up as yellow anymore. It shows up as a member added event, not your added event, because of course the website does not know who I am anymore now that I logged out. And as just a regular user, I cannot click anywhere on the dates and create an event. Regular users cannot do that. You have to be a member. You have to be logged in to be able to create an event, edit an event, and delete an event. And that's how you use the club calendar. Your FreeToastHost 2.0 website comes with a file manager. The file manager is a way to share files with either the public or just the members. Now, your administrator is able to decide which files should be shared with the public and which files should only be shared with the members. If you're logged in or if you're not logged in, you can go under the main menu and look for the link that says Public Downloads. Click on that link. You'll be taken to the file manager where the downloads, where the files will actually show up. Here you can see we don't have any public files, so there's nothing to download. However, If we click on the Member Downloads link, under the Members Only section, we will see a whole bunch of files. Now, these are only files that members logged in will be able to see and will be able to download. To download the file, you could either click on the icon or click on the name itself of the file. File download window will pop up. It'll tell you again what file you're downloading, the type of file, and the file size. You could simply click download. Once you click the download, the window will open up to your computer, whether you have a PC or Mac, and it'll ask you what you want to do with that file. You could either open it directly or save it, depending on your operating system. Now, another thing you can do is you can get the direct URL of the file. If for some reason you wanted to link directly to this file, where somebody would click on it and the file would automatically download, you would just copy this URL, and you could use that as a direct link. Now let's have a look at the agenda. Signing up for roles on the agenda. Under the Members Only section, you will see Meeting Agendas. If you click on that link, it will take you to the next meeting that has not yet occurred. Here you will find the agenda listed with all of the speakers that have signed up. If this is not the meeting you're looking for, you could click on View Another Agenda, and you could select the date of the agenda that you wanted to view. Alternatively, you could go to the Club Calendar link and find the agenda on the calendar if you're more a visual type of person. Click on that link and be directed directly to the agenda. Now let's take a look at the makeup of the agenda, what it looks like. At the top here, we see the meeting agenda for, and then it'll have the date of the meeting. Here at the top, we have our custom header, if you want to call it that, where you could enter in text, you could put an image, and you could put some information in there. Some people like to put who the officers are of the club, contact information, just a welcome to the guests and to the members, theme of the meeting, anything you want to put in here, you can put in there. And I'm saying you as whether you're the administrator, if you're the VP of Education that sets up the agendas, or if you happen to be the Toastmaster of the meeting, and that's the policy of your club where the Toastmaster is in charge of setting up the agenda, then you can do that. Looking at some of the icons, the first one is the email this meeting agenda. As you can see, if you put your mouse cursor over the button, the text will show and tell you exactly what it is. So if we want to email the agenda to the club, we would click on this. Dialog will pop up. We could put a custom message like, hey everybody, looking forward to seeing you at the next meeting. And we could choose to whom we want this agenda sent, whether we want it sent to all the club members, including the Toastmaster and VP Ed, just the Toastmaster, or just the VP of Education. Or, once again, we could send it to all three. And just by checking the first one, it would be equivalent to checking all three. And then we could click Send Email. The second button is the Print the Meeting Agenda. This is handy if you are the Toastmaster, if you want a copy of the agenda for some reason in print. If you click on that button, a new window will pop up. And it'll change it a little bit. Of course, the window will pop up to actually print. But it'll change the layout a little bit to be printer friendly. And depending on your agenda and the way it's set up, it could either fit on one page or on 2 pages. The next button is the Role Report. The Role Report is essentially a listing of each member and each role, how many times each member did each role. And that could be opened in any kind of Excel spreadsheet, OpenOffice spreadsheet, or the Mac equivalent of the spreadsheet. And finally, we have download the multiple meeting sign-up sheet. And once again, that is a file download dialog that'll pop up, spreadsheet format. And that basically just lists all of the agendas in the future, and it allows people to sign up, like physically sign up if it's something you want to pass out at a club meeting. That's something that the VP of Ed would most likely be using if that's the way you choose to sign up for roles, as opposed to have somebody come to the website directly and sign up. And that's what we're going to be talking about here. We're going to be talking about if your club is the kind of club that encourages members to go to the website and sign up for the role on their own. As you can see here, we have 3 different columns. We have the time column, the role agenda item, and the member. Now, not every item here is a role that should be signed up for. For example, in our agenda, we have 6:30 to 7 o'clock, socialize and network. It's just basically stating what happens during that time. It's not something, we don't have a socialize master where somebody has to actually do the role. It's just listed there. Then we have some other roles where the VP of Education or the Toastmaster would automatically assign the person to the role. For example, Sergeant at Arms, we have the same person for the entire year. The President is the same person for the entire year. But roles like the Toastmaster, the Humorist, and so forth, you can click. You'll see a button that says Sign Up. And as long as you're logged in, and I should have mentioned earlier, if you're not logged in, you will not be able to see this agenda, so you must be logged in to see it. And if you are logged in and you can see it, then you should be able to see a button that says Sign Up. If you click on the button, it will insert either your photo or your name, depending on how your club has set up the agenda. Sometimes your club may set it up in a way where you don't want to use pictures on the agenda, and that's fine. It'll just show up as names instead. So I'm going to remove myself from this role by clicking the X by my name. For example, like right now, I just kind of tested out. I want to see how it worked. I really don't want to take the role, so I click the X, and that role will be available once again. And you can see here when people did take a role, it says who the role is filled by, along with a little email icon. This is great for the Toastmaster. If you want to get some more information, if you want to get an introduction from somebody, you could click on the email icon. The email window will pop up and you could send that member a message. Now for speaker information, you'll see a little bit more. You'll see the title, the description of the role, who it's filled by, and then if they had filled out the information, you'll see the manual, the speech, and the time, and then the speech title. Now, perhaps you can't make the meeting. Well, in the meeting notes, you can put information like, sorry guys, I'm not going to be here at this meeting. If you want to put any information that you want to appear on the agenda on the website, a message that you want to get across to the membership, and anything you want, you could put in the meeting notes. And that's done as simply as just clicking on the text area, typing in a message, and clicking the Update Meeting Notes. And that will update the message. Now, this doesn't work like a chat where you could type something, somebody else could type something, you could type something again, and vice versa, and you can have this big conversation going. You have basically one line along with your name. So if I type something else, it will erase what I have already written and put in the new message in its place. So this is basically the agenda, how you sign up for roles and how you remove yourself from roles. Again, just to review, very easy. You look for the sign up button, you click on it. If at any time you decide you can't take the role, you don't want to take the role, you X yourself out of it. Now, depending on your club's policy, after you sign up for a role or after you remove yourself from a role, you may want to click on the email icon and at least notify the Toastmaster or the VP of Ed and say, hey, I signed up for a role, but now I removed myself. Or, hey, I just signed up for this role, thought you might want to see it. You might want to send that, you might want to have it as a policy for your club. Anytime anybody signs up for a role, send the agenda to all the members. And that would be done just by clicking this. Again, it's your club, your policy. The FreeToastHost platform just gives you the capability of doing that. Now let's take a look at the meeting agenda from the perspective of the Toastmaster of the meeting or the VP of Education. Once again, I should remind you that as the Toastmaster or the VP of Ed, it's still a club policy that you guys need to decide upon within the club if the club VP of Ed take care of all the agendas, or the Toastmaster of the meeting take care of coordinating the meeting through the agenda. This is something that's left up to club policy. It's not specific for the FreeToastHost platform. But here I'm just showing, as the VP of Education or the Toastmaster of the meeting, what you can do. As the VP of Ed, you will see a Create New link next to the meeting agendas. This is if you want to create a new agenda. So let's start off by creating a new agenda. Why not? When we click on Create New, basically we're taken to the agenda where we see nothing. It's just kind of like a template. We could click on the plus button to create a new agenda. We choose the meeting date. Let's say January 5th of 2012. And we get to choose from our template whether we use our default agenda, which is set up by the webmaster or by the administrator of the FreeToastHost site, or we could choose the Toastmaster's default one page, the Toastmaster's default detailed, and there's a few other choices down there as well. Or you could see that we could basically copy any of our existing agendas. Now this is great if we taken the time and created a custom agenda for a contest, a special distinguished speaker that comes to visit, and the meeting might be a little bit different. We could find that meeting and just copy that one. But for this one, I'm just going to choose our default agenda. And in the meeting description, we have our default header. This was set up by your administrator of the website, so you could completely change this around and change information, add some text to it, theme, and so forth. And once everything is good, click on Save. And then you'll see that you could control each item of the agenda. So it starts off with your standard agenda with nobody signed up. So to get a better view of what we're seeing here, let's click Close. And once it refreshes, we could see that we have a template agenda here with nobody signed up, speaking slots. We could see that over here in the member column, where we have a dash, those are roles where people cannot sign up. For example, I couldn't take the Sergeant-at-Arms position if I wanted to, just as a member, because I'm not the Sergeant-at-Arms for the club. But as the VP of Education or the Toastmaster for the meeting, I could click on the Edit button, get back into the Edit window. I could go to the Sergeant-at-Arms role. I could select who our Sergeant-at-Arms actually is, and I could click on Save. So this is basically assigning that person that role. Once it refreshes, we'll have that person in the role. Now we could do the same thing for the other roles. Let's take a look at this one, the President's opening remarks, and then all the way at the end here, we have where the President comes back again with the closing remarks. Now the way that the agendas were set up is, so the President role, you don't have to select the President every single time. There's only one place where you would select the President. And this is, you could tell, because the President, the keyword President, is surrounded by the stars, the little asterisk here. That means anywhere else where President is used, surround by that. It's a role that you cannot sign up for. It'll just automatically fill that person in to those roles. So as we scroll down, we look here, we look at the President's closing remarks, there is no pull-down menu, because automatically when we select the President up here, that will be filled in by default. So if we close the edit window, we could see the President was filled in both places. Okay, and now if everything looks good the way we want it, of course, we could go back to edit. And this is something we're not going to cover in this video, something we'll get into more detail in the administrator video. But it's very simple to delete any role from here. Adding new roles, it'll automatically add it in at any time you give it, and you could change roles around. You can make them longer. This is something that you might want to do, for example, if you found out that speaker number 2 is not going to give a 7-minute speech, they're going to give a 20-minute speech. Well, then you could edit this role, and you could see that the start time is 8:06, the end time is 8:13, and you want to actually change it to 8:26. You could click on that to make it 8:26, click on Save, and the agenda will automatically adjust. So speaker role 2 will now be 20 minutes, and you could see that every role after that has automatically adjusted given the time that it already had. So it's still the same time frame. So example, 2 minutes to complete evaluation form is still 2 minutes, but that 2 minutes has shifted from 8:26 to 8:28. But now we have a problem, because now the meeting that normally ends at 9:30 is now ending at 9:43. So a solution to that, well, it's your agenda. You could do whatever you want. But, for example, in our agenda, I think one of the best things to do would be to take away some time from table topics. Right now we see that table topics goes from 7:16 to 7:36. We're 13 minutes shy. So if my math is correct, changing that to 7:23 should do the trick. And then saving. And 9:30. And then close the window. And now we have our agenda ready to go. Now, as the Toastmaster or VP of Education, I'd most likely want to click on the email icon and go ahead and send this agenda to all of the members saying, we just created this agenda for January. Go ahead and sign up whenever you feel like it. Click on Send Email. Something to that extent. And finally, this button is the Delete This Meeting Agenda. I'll go ahead and delete this because this was for test purposes. So I could click on this delete button. Dialog pops up to make sure that I want to delete it, and I would say, yes, I'm going to delete it. Normally, I would suppose in most cases that the Toastmaster would not be responsible for creating the agendas from scratch. Maybe the VP of Education would do it, could do all the agendas for the entire year for 6 months at a time. And maybe it's just the duty of the Toastmaster to make small edits and changes, like I did before with the timer role, with the speaker role, changing the time. So if the speaker notifies me that our speech is actually going to be a bit longer, well, then I could change that. Since we're talking about speakers, let's take a look at some of this information here. It looks a little bit different logged in as a VP of Education or as the Toastmaster, because I could actually select a speech, I could type in the speech title, and I could type in a speech introduction. So could the member who's actually signing up for a speaking role. So if you were to sign up and take a speaking role, you would see all this information available to you. This is ideal to keep track of your speeches because the website remembers all of this and could produce reports showing this information. So you would select the manual, you would enter in your speech title, and then you would enter in the speech introduction. Once again, this is something that you'd want to talk to your club about, your club officers, to find out what your policy would be on this. But in our club, we strongly encourage all of our members to enter in their speech introduction here. Because when you do enter in the speech introduction, and you save the information, and again, the member could do this directly, or the VP of Education or the Toastmaster can do this. So maybe we have a member of the club that isn't that tech savvy. They want to send us their information just via email or call us up on the phone and tell us what speech it's going to be, the title, and the introduction, which would be a little bit crazy if we have to dictate it over the phone and retype it in here. But if they send you an email with all the information, you can just copy and paste And now, as the Toastmaster, before the meeting, you click on the little print icon by the speech introduction, and it pulls up this great little printout for you, this web-based printout that has the name, the speech, the manual, the time, the speech title, and the introduction, double-spaced in large text, which is perfect to bring with you at the lectern and read directly from this. So it makes it very convenient. Anytime you want to update the speech details, you could just do that, enter something, remove it, click on the button, and there you have it. Again, if you're a Toastmaster or if you're a VP of Education, you have a lot more editing access, you have a lot more power for the agenda, and as the Toastmaster, you don't have this access until, of course, you actually sign up for Toastmaster or until the VP of Education assigns you as the Toastmaster. If you're listed as the Toastmaster, again, it has to have the keyword Toastmaster, or the Chair, or Contest Master. Those are the three key words that the system uses to identify you as the Toastmaster. You will have this kind of editing access only for the agenda that you're listed as Toastmaster. So this person does not have the same kind of access for next month's meeting. The Toastmaster for that meeting will have that access. If your club has a mentor or mentee program, underneath the members only link, you will see a link that says Mentor Mentee Request Form. This is something that you, if you're interested as a club member, could click on. And you could see that you could check all that apply to you. Yes, I would like to mentor a new member. I would like to mentor a more experienced member. I am a new member who would like to have an assigned mentor, or I am a more experienced member who would like to have a mentor help me develop special skills. So you could choose one or more of these options. And you could also choose if you want to be contacted by email, by phone, before the meetings, after the meetings, and you could put other comments. Explain basically what you're looking for, and then just click Submit. Now, if this link is active, it will go to whoever's assigned in your club to take care of those kind of requests. If the administrator didn't assign somebody specifically, it will go to the administrator, so it will certainly go somewhere. Now, you might not have this link, and if you don't have the link, that means that your club currently isn't participating in that, and you need to talk to your webmaster or perhaps your club officers into activating that link on the website. If you are interested in being a mentor or a mentee, and your club is active in that kind of program, then once again, this is something outside of the FreeToastHost software. You need to talk to your club members, to your club officers, and find out if you have such a program and at what capacity you would want to be involved. As a member of your club, you should really keep your information up to date. When your information was entered into the database initially, most likely it either came from a previous website or it came directly from the Toastmasters International records. So you might want to check that information. To do that, underneath the Members Only section, you would click on the Edit Your Profile link. So we'll start there. Again, if you don't see this as an active link, well, then you're not logged in. So you need to make sure that you're actually logged in. Click on the Edit Your Profile link. To make your profile public, by default, this is set to no, unless your administrator did change it to yes. So here is your choice. You could either make your profile public or not. Now we'll go over in a moment what exactly the public profile looks like. We'll take you there to show you what the non-member actually sees. But if you take a look down here, it tells you that if you do make your profile public, non-members will see your photo, your name, social media links, and actually a brief bio, whatever you choose to put down in your little bio that you want people to see about you and know about you. They will not have access to your email address. They will not have access to your phone number. So really doesn't do any harm to make your profile public. It's good PR for the club. Your name with Toastmasters with your Toastmasters designation. And again, that's optional. If you just want to put your name, that's fine as well. Your primary email address, your secondary email address, and down here there's a checkbox. There's an option to send all communication from this site to the secondary email address as well. Now let me explain the difference between the two. If you do not have this selected, the secondary email address is only used for purposes to authenticate you when you send email to the list. So if you have a couple of different email clients that have a different from address, then it's a good idea to put both of those addresses, one address in each area. You cannot put multiple addresses in one of these boxes. You cannot separate addresses with commas or semicolons. You could only put one email address in each one of these areas. If you have multiple addresses and you want all of the communication to be sent to the multiple addresses, for example, if you have a personal address and you have a work address, then you want to select both of those, and you want to enter both of those, and you want to check the box that says send all communication from this site to this address as well. Here you put your telephone number. If you want to have your information in there, your telephone number to be available to other members, because only members will see this and have that information. And then your social media links. And this is great for just to market yourself, for networking, to find out more information about your other club members, for other people who are coming to the website to find out more information about you, who you are. If you have a Facebook URL, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, it takes all four of those. Again, you do not have to sign up for those accounts. You do not have to put anything there. And then you have the brief member bio. You just tell us a little bit about yourself in about 100 words or fewer. Plain text, no HTML, whatever you want the public to know, you enter it in there. And then finally, your photo. Your administrator may have uploaded your photo already, and maybe they have not. If they have not, you wouldn't see anything there. If you want to change your photo, you could click on the Select Photo button. Now, if you do not see this Select Photo button, that means that your web browser is not supporting Flash. Flash is a technology that it's also a plugin that's available on all web browsers. It comes by default in Internet Explorer, but for Safari and for Firefox, you just need to install Flash, a very quick installation by going to adobe.com and installing Flash. You click on Select Photo, it will pull up the window on your computer. You could select another picture of yourself, click Open, and in real time it will upload the new picture. You don't have to save anything, but if you want to, if you made any other changes in the page, then you do have to save. But if you're only changing your image, your picture, your photo, your icon, whatever you want to call it, you do not have to click the Save button. So if you click on Meet Our Members, you will see all of the different members. Let's take a look at my profile. As you can see, I have my new photo there. Has my name, my title within, or my designation, first of all, with Toastmasters, my title within the club, my brief bio, and then my social network, my social media links. And all of these are active hyperlinks you can click on. Anybody can click on these to find out more about me. So it does not give away a lot of information. So it's really not much of a security risk. But if you are paranoid or you don't want people tracking you down, or for any reason whatsoever, you could always go to your profile link, and you could make sure you have no selected for public profile. As a member, and when you're logged in, you'll see a few more links. The club email addresses. If you click on this window, it's basically a directory of the different email addresses that your clubs have and the instructions or information about that email address right below it. So for example, the member's email address, any member can send messages to this list. Your from address must be the same as either your main email address set in your profile or your backup email address. You have the officers, which go to all the current officers. Then you have the listing of the current club officers. A guest's email address, contact, and the administrator of the website. And one of the other links you can access as a member when you're logged in is the private member directory. This will give you a little bit more information than the Meet Our Members link. First of all, not all of the members may have selected a public profile, so you're not going to have a complete list up here with the public Meet Our Members link. But the private member directory will have all of the active members, all of the current members. You'll see here on the top you can actually print the membership list with photos. We have the person's name, their email address, their role, and as a club officer, you will see this little area here where you could actually enter any club officer notes, and then you could save. The lock icon to the left of the name signifies whether this is a public profile or not. When the lock icon is unlocked, you'll see it's public profile. When it's locked, it's not a public profile. So you could scroll down, you can find all the information about all your members right here, along with their bios as well.